Hello and welcome to the Hellraiser blog. Very exciting week in boxing coming up, starting with Hellraiser boxing event at York Hall, the home of British boxing. We've got a packed bill as always, and top of the bill is going to be Tony Milch, who I've known since he was about 9 years old, so I'm very excited about moving him up. He has sort of progressed somewhat under the radar in the pros so far, but he's now coming up to, he'll be 10-0 soon, and hopefully, touch wood, and he's going to be fighting for a challenge belt. On the card we've got George Jupp, who just boxed for a world title recently, Siar Byfield, who boxed for the Southern Area title recently, Jez Smith, Siar Ozgul, who's been putting up a few trees and ruffling a few feathers on social media lately, and Danny Arnold looks like a very good prospect. We're going to have him on his pro debut, and Elliot Matthews, who we're pushing to have made as mandatory for the British title at middleweight. So it's going to be an interesting show at York Hall. Get down there, it'll be a great night of boxing. You've also got, on the same night, Frampton against Cruz. I'll give you my prediction at the end of the blog. And the thing that's made the most noise, if you like, for me the last week or so, has been Siar Ozgul, the Lionheart of Istanbul, against Kaye. We were promised the fight. We've actually got a contract, a Goodwin Boxing, for what it's worth, a Goodwin Boxing contract signed for the fight. We've signed it. That's a legally binding document. They have to fight us. Except for, they're now trying to, or they have, pulled out of the fight. And on the grounds that Kaye will now fight Raheem Noble. I mean, Raheem Noble got heavily dropped by a non-puncher last time I saw him boxing. I mean, I can't see any boxing fan at all being interested in watching that. Even non-boxing fans who are just friends of the fighters. Are they going to go and see? I can't see it selling. I can't. I think it's a terrible fight, and I think the board should step in. I think the board should push. Certainly, even if they let them have the fight, because Noble is actually the Southern Area champion, they have to insist that there's a short time delay, mandatory defence against Siar Ozgul, because that's completely out of order. Let me explain to you why. If the boxer I sign a contract for the fight. I tell the boxer then schedules his whole life around that fight. I mean, he cancelled a trip to Las Vegas. There's all sorts of things that, because he's having this fight, and didn't even get the courtesy of a phone call. It was me ringing them about something entirely different, that then it just got mentioned in, oh, by the way, we're not going to fight you now, we're going to go and fight somebody else. So Siar has been venting his frustrations on his Facebook page and on Twitter, calling Kaye Katie Prosper, and etc. If you've seen it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. For me, actually, that's a good fight. I mean, I want to make the fight. I mean, look, when I spoke to Steve about it, when we were talking about the terms and conditions, Steve's main condition was that it was on his show. But it's difficult when you manage the boxer and you promote the boxer. There is a conflict of interest, and for me, when I manage and promote, the management hat has to go on. You can't put, because I mean, I could, if Steve says to me, oh, it has to be on my show, I just said, yeah, okay, we'll do it on your show. I'm more interested in making the fight, giving my guy the opportunity, than I am. I mean, obviously, if I promote, I'll make more money out of it. Siar Ozgul's a huge ticket seller. I don't know that Kaye is. He boxed on one of my shows before. He didn't sell particularly well then, but Siar Ozgul really is a good ticket seller. And for a fight like that, it's a genuine pick 'em fight. I mean, they're both capable of winning the match. But I had to. Siar, right from the start, has all he's ever wanted. He told me, I just want to fight for titles. I don't want to fight journeymen. I don't want to be like going around in circles for ages. I want to go out and fight good guys. If you can make those good fights, then we're in business. And look, we put him in with a guy that was meant to be fighting for an ABU title in his last match, and he destroyed him in a round. And about 24 hours after that performance, we got a phone call saying, oh, Kaye has hurt his hand. He won't be able to box on the date we gave you, but you can do it in September. So they bought themselves a bit of time by doing that. and they've used that time to try and squeeze out of it by making this fight between Kaye Prosper and Raheem Noble. But Noble is the champion, so he's every right to defend it. I mean, he will get flattened. That's not a 50-50 fight. Don't let anybody try and fool you into thinking it is a 50-50. Anybody wants an even money bet on that fight, I will lay as much money as you can put, because Prosper will walk through Raheem Noble. And Noble seems like a nice guy, and he's a fit guy, and he showed a lot of heart in picking himself up off the floor when he did get heavily dropped by the non-punching guy that I was talking to you about, Siar Ahmed or something like that. But nevertheless, look, that isn't a 50-50. Siar Ozgul against Kaye Prosper, that's a proper fight. Now, I'm not saying I want to make the fight because I'm certain my guy wins it. I think my guy wins it. I'm not certain that he wins it. It's a hard fight. And if he gets hit on the chin, that will be it for Siar Ozgul. You know, he'll get knocked out. So it's not a given that he wins, but we're certainly now going to complain because you can't do it. It's not right. These are young guys who have got dreams, who have got ambitions, who have got hopes to climb, you know, to the pinnacle of, and who are putting the going through the pain barrier every day, that are working as hard as it's humanly possible to work to achieve their dream and their goals. And for a promoter to basically fob them off like that, that's not on. I wouldn't do it to another boxer. And really, Steve Goodwin, or I think it's Michael Ballingall, I don't really understand it. It's Goodwin Boxing Promotions. That's no way to proceed with in boxing. That we should be competitive, but we should also be decent to each other. And when you pull out of a fight like that, it leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. The fans, the boxers. It's disrespectful to everybody. So I think the board has to step in and make Siar Ozgul a mandatory within 90 days for the Southern Area fight, whether it's Noble, who I can't see winning, or more likely Kaye Prosper. But okay, that's my thoughts on Siar Ozgul and Kaye Prosper. The big fight this weekend, I mean, as soon as I get home from my show at your call, I will be putting on Box Nation, and I'll be watching Frampton, who I'm a big fan of, and I like Carl. I know him personally. He's a good guy. I worked for him before, and I'm praying that he wins. I've got to say, although there's some exciting or big fights being made, I feel a little bit at the moment like British boxing is selling out. You got Kell Brook fighting Golovkin. Well, I don't care if Kell Brook's heavier than Golovkin at this moment in time. Golovkin, for me, is just going to... It will beat him handily. Will beat him. He's just too big. Just too big. No matter... I mean, Brook's slippery. He's a very good boxer. But that's too big a chunk to bite off. So I feel a little bit like British boxing selling out. Because then we've had Amir Khan fight Canelo. Now we're going to have Brook, who I just can't see any... Like, sometimes you can look at a fight and you think, well, if he does this... If they use this tactic, if they try and do that, maybe that will happen, and then he can... But with this fight, I think whatever Brook does, he gets beat. Golovkin can walk through Brook. His tactic actually can just be run at him, cut the ring off, and keep smashing away, and Brook will give up before Golovkin does, because naturally he won't have the strength to go with him. And now you've got a different... For different reasons, but I think Santa Cruz, unfortunately, I think he beats Frampton. It's not impossible for Carl to win the fight, but I think Carl has to show something vastly superior to anything that he has done so far. I mean, look, he won the title against a guy who just... I mean, look, all the fights that he's had some close-ish ones going up, but he's never boxed anywhere near this level. And to go to America in the other guy's backyard and be fighting a guy who's a 3-weight world champion, for me, if I can't help feeling a little bit like they're selling out. I mean, I'm going to watch it and I'll be praying for Carl, and hopefully we'll see a career best performance from him. And it's not impossible for him to win, but I'm saying it's a 1 in 10 chance that he wins, you know. And that I think you know, I don't know what the finances are. I hope he's getting very, very well paid for it, and I hope he pulls it off. Anyway, guys, that's the Hellraiser blog for this week. Good luck, and feel free to subscribe. We always enjoy your subscriptions, and give us a thumbs up. Okay, cheers, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.